In this video, I want to go over a Webflow site that I recently created for ITD Events or In the Dark Events. They're a company that holds events related to LGBTQIA for Australia. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the old website right here. And what the client wanted was essentially a refresh or redesign to just be more modern, more friendly, and ultimately to increase conversion. So this website is very boxy. I think it's okay. So this is the old website. I think it's very complicated, first of all, because it's a CMS website. But the first thing I noticed is that logo in the dark with this box around it, and the box has sharp corners. So it does make sense that everything has a box just to keep that style. Some things here are very interesting. The person who made this old website, these are the news. So the news CMS that's loaded in a marquee that's kind of like corrupt, maybe because there's not enough CMS items, but you can see just like there's so much empty space here. The general premise, everything works. I mean, there's a featured slider right here, which is using an elf site slider plugin. Then below that, we have the CMS items with the tour dates, as well as latest news on the right-hand side, which looks a bit, cluttered. And then below this is an Instagram plugin through elf site, because still to this date, Webflow has not released the feature of Instagram API, etc. So then below here, we just have a simple footer. So that's the website. Let's go ahead and just take a look at like one of the tour items. You can see it looks like this. We have a tour poster image. Again, this is all built through the CMS, which is quite interesting, to be honest. And the background is using the exact same poster image in the back. And everything is just like text with the tickets. So this is like events. And the tickets are pretty interesting because this is also done in the Webflow CMS. I wonder if you guys know how that's done. But you can see this is a 26 in Perth in this theater right here. It's 14 plus, and you can buy the tickets. So when you click on it, it takes you to that ticket link, and it says if this is a seated ticket or seated and standing. And there's also variations. Like you'll notice this says 18 plus, means 18 plus event only. And there's even different states. Like there's buy tickets, pre-ticket sales, ticket selling fast. So a lot of variables. On the left-hand side, you can see this is actually a rich text element, which I, love to talk about. But essentially, it's like a styling where you can actually put dot points, images, different headings, etc. Below this is the lineup. So this is the artist CMS that needs to link to the events. Then below that, we can see latest news. So that's the general design of the old website. And then here's the design that I redid. And just keep in mind, it's not just about the design, but it's also about the functionality. So all this is done through the Webflow CMS. With this slider at the very top, this is now replaced with a native Webflow slider. So we're not using the elf site plugin anymore. So the client no longer has to manage that. This is actually done through the Finsweet slider plugin or Finsweet CMS slider. So all credit goes to Finsweet. But you'll notice it has a much cleaner feel. Another thing is this navbar right here. It's all white. And as I scroll down, it disappears. It disappears because I don't want the user to always see this navbar, because I want them to be focused on the content. So that's why I made that navbar on scroll. It just goes away. But if you want the navbar again, you just scroll up and it's there. And you'll notice one thing. This is very, very nuanced. But here, this navbar is black. And as I scroll up all the way to the top, because it's transparent, it goes from black to transparent. And I'm just telling you, this is the exact same navbar. There's many ways to do things. This is the exact same navbar. Another way you could have duplicated the navbar, but this is the exact same. So it goes from here, this white background with black text, all the way to white. So that was very interesting and very tricky, to be very honest, to do this. But that's the design that we went for, or that's the design I suggested. And you can see here's a hero slider. Even has background videos pulling from an external URL video hosting source. So you can add that in. And these are all clickable links. And then below this, you can see this is the CMS items right here. And there's a filter using Finsweet filter and sort. You can filter between state, like so. You can hit reset. And you can even filter between multiple states, like so. And you can hit reset. So that is that. And everything is in like a rounded corner, even though it kind of doesn't match with the logo, but you can kind of get away with it, If they really want, they can rebrand this to be rounded corners and it just matches the entire website. But it's just a very minor detail. And that's the crazy thing, I think even just rounding the corners just changes the style completely. And if you think about YouTube, when it first came out, those videos were always like with sharp corners. But nowadays on the YouTube, everything's rounded, and it really makes a different feel. It's like more minimalistic type clean feel. So that's a tip right there. Round your corners. And then, another question is, how much do you round the corners? But anyways, there was a reason why it's rounded. It's more friendly, it's more approachable, it's more modern, etc. Here we have the new CMS. And as you can see, there's a text ellipses effect. So it doesn't actually break the design of the boxes. I made a tutorial on this in the past. Then we have currently touring with all the touring artists in that CMS in a swiper.js. So as I can swipe across, and we know that we can swipe across because we see this swiper hand cursor as well as this bar right here. And again, this is done through swiper.js. Then we just have like a newsletter sign up, which I've just added a video on the right just to make it even more like engaging. Then you can go ahead and hit this to subscribe to their newsletter, followed by keeping their Elf site Instagram plugin, because right now there's no real automatic way to do it in Webflow. And then below this is a footer that shows all the current tours as well as the quick links on the right. And that's the homepage. So much, much more cleaner than what we have previously in this site. Let's go ahead and let me explain a couple of the user experience and design that I went with on top of this. So let's go ahead and just click onto an existing page. Let's say drag race down under. You'll notice immediately that there's a secondary CMS image that is set in this banner like size. And below this, everything is much more styled, specifically this rich text element. So I still kept it to be rich text because that's the easiest way for the client to update everything. But you'll notice that it's the very subtle details. For example, this is actually a quote block right here. And then scrolling down, you can see this is just regular text. You would even notice, you probably don't notice, but I noticed because I spent like a lot of time doing this. Like I went into this CMS rich text and I was just playing around with the text color. So this text color right here is not actually black. It's not 000 in hexacode. It's like, it's off black. It's almost like it's kind of like muted in a way that's like, I don't want people to see this. This is not the main focus. The main focus is this thing right here, buying the tickets right here. And you'd even notice that I just made these like really subtle things that you probably don't even notice until I explain. But this box right here actually has this gradient effect. So it's actually having this like purple gradient effect that's actually just subtly moving around. It's actually drawing your eyes, just very, very subtle. It's a border that is actually moving with a gradient background done through custom code. And as I scroll down, you'll notice again, the nav bar is right here, but when I scroll down, it disappears. And because it disappears, and I'm on desktop currently, if I scroll down, you can see the tickets are always on the screen. Like I cannot miss the tickets on desktop. It's like always here. Whereas the previous site, if I just go into this same one, the tickets are on the right-hand side. And as I scroll down, it's like, where's the ticket again? Where did it go? Like, oh, I have to scroll back up. So I just wanted that experience of like, the tickets are always there. It's front and center. That's the main CTA. And you can see everything's just streamlined. It still has the location, the dates, the 14 plus or 18 plus right here. And then we have buy tickets. And it even says if it's seated or if it's standing and seated. And below this, I've just added modern UI components like, should you have any further questions, contact us or visit our FAQ page. And I've just gone ahead and added like some photos of the staff members just to show that this is a company with actual people running it. Sometimes we forget to do that. So that's another tip, is to show pictures of real pictures, not AI generated. Although, if it comes down to that, I guess that's the world we're heading. But actual pictures of your team. So that way it shows that like, I'm going to actually talk to someone, not just, like a contact form. Then on the left-hand side, you can see all this is rich text. This event guide and FAQ is all done through the CMS. This accordion is done through the CMS right here. Then below this is just video embeds through the CMS rich text, followed by a poster image that is rounded. And the right-hand side, you can see that we have the tour lineup. So you can go ahead and select the CMS artist. And below that is just repeated sections, repeated mail section and repeated, you may also like these events section. So that is that. Let's go ahead and just quickly take a look at our mobile, because that's very important as well, especially because a lot of people are on mobile phone nowadays. But you can see this has the tickets right here. And as I scroll down, then we get into the information right here. And you'll notice as soon as the ticket is scrolled past the screen and you want to just keep reading, there's no more confusion of like, oh, but where do I buy the tickets? I have to scroll back up, or maybe I forgot to buy the tickets. It's always there on the screen, right here, buy tickets. And when you click onto this, it scrolls you back up to the ticket section, as you can see. And if I scroll all the way down, it then comes back up. So it's almost like never leaving you. You know what I mean? Like these small details that I had to think of is what I did. That's that. That's the page right there. Let's quickly just fly through other pages. So we have the About Us page like so, with some images and some videos, some events. Then below that we have news. Then we have latest news like so. So now it's showing in a card format, again with text ellipses. And if you click into one of them, you can see this is the new news page right here. What I've done is I've added a custom CTA on the left, so the client can actually add what they want in this specific page. It says sign up for pre-tickets, so they can go ahead and change this. And then we just have the rich text on the right-hand side, supported by this gray background. So it's a lot easier to read, like compared to their old site. Let's just quickly take a look at it, like so. Just take a look at this one. You can see this one's a bit like, it's like kind of boring in a way. Like it's just like, it's very hard to like captures people's attention. Whereas this one is more like there's color involved and different styling. It just makes a more like dynamic feel. And then finally we have who's touring. So we can actually just go into one of them. Let's just say this one right here. You can see we have a secondary image in the back, followed by image, followed by rich text, and then currently touring. So this links to the CMS. Then we have contact, which is just a regular form and an FAQ section. And that's it. So that's essentially the website for In the Dark, just a revamp. It seemed pretty simple now that I look at it, but a lot of time was thought into like how to make it better than the old site, specifically in terms of design, but more importantly in terms of user experience. So I hope you guys found this video very, very helpful. I hope you got some tips and tricks, and leave a comment on what you think, and I'll see you